Welcome to Our Place, Our Time. I'm Vianne Webb. In a vacant store on Freemason Street in downtown Norfolk, artist Ed Roebuck and his wife have opened an art studio and a gallery that primarily sells Roebuck's own drawings and sculpture. There's not a whole lot unusual about that, except that 9 years ago, artist Ed Roebuck took a can of black spray paint and desecrated about 20 years' worth of his work and vowed he'd never exhibit again. Well, Mike Sinclair tells us the extraordinary story of Ed Roebuck.
Ed Roebuck has been a member of the Hampton Roads arts community for more than 20 years. He was one of the original artists with the Dart Center, taught watercolor for Walter Chrysler, and in 1970 won the Boardwalk Art Show. His black and white drawings realistically mirror the world he sees around him. Growing up in Blackwater, Virginia, Roebuck began drawing at an early age.
I found something that I get up in the morning and there's nothing better to me than turn on some good music and get into a good drawing. I mean, I have one going and just every day continue adding to it. So to some people it's almost like knitting, but for me it holds my interest. I've done a lot of things to make a living and a lot of different kinds of jobs, and it seems like as soon as I sort of master the job, the excitement of it runs out. But with art, it holds. It's just always there. There's always a new challenge.
In 1981, Ed Roebuck walked into the Artful Framer and Gallery at Military Circle and spray-painted black X's on the front of 63 of his drawings. This brought Roebuck national notoriety. He was interviewed on Good Morning America and written up in the New York Times and Playboy, and his story even appeared in the supermarket tabloid, The Globe.
It was a rough year, I tell you. It was the beginning of the last decade. Unemployment was very high, and I was one of these guys, you know. I scrapped the show together, and I think I sold one in the show, and by the time the show was going to close, somebody who I owed money to for past rent put a lien against the paintings the entire show, and they were going to auction them off, you know. And my beef was I supported his enterprise by paying his rent. Why didn't he support mine? Buying one piece? I mean, you know, that was the idea. But I was in a pretty down state along that time. I wanted the art to do so much for me, but it just wasn't doing it for me. I wanted to actually do it full time, make a living at it, but and to stay a local artist at the same time. And so out of frustration, I went in and altered the pieces slightly, and lo and behold, I sold 7,000 worth in about 2 days after that.
After the X incident, Roebuck stopped showing his artwork and went back to doing drywall in order to make a living. He has recently resumed showing his work and has opened a studio and gallery on Freemason Street in Norfolk.
I hope to bring drawing up to a point equal with painting. Maybe as Sokovia did with the guitar, but just as an idea. I think painting can hold up beside of, drawing can hold up beside of painting, and what I do, I use the total black all the way to total white, and try to use a whole keyboard rather than stay with the medium tones of pencil.
Roebuck practices a type of backwards drawing using a technique which he created. He blackens the paper with graphite and then uses a typewriter eraser to carve the image from the black.
I had trouble starting oil paintings when I was at the academy, and Morris Blackburn suggested to me, wash the whole thing out and start wiping highlights. And it worked for me. And instead of sketching it in first, I would start that way, start wiping out highlights and working back to the dark areas. I've been playing here with a branch. And the way I got this leading into a bark texture here is, I'll show you a little quick thing here. This is general shape of my bark, say from a tree. Take these erasers. This is a typing eraser, and it's a very hard tip on it. I manipulate the pencil line to get what I want. You're working back to the white, actually working from your highlight to the darks, actually working backwards. You start taking off rather than putting on like you do with a point. This is the idea of taking off. You just nibble away at a subject until you start to see it emerge.
Growing up in rural Virginia, Roebuck's work has always focused on nature. And even now, he holds a fascination with the natural world around him, especially with trees.
You know, I feel the life of a tree. I know a tree's alive from the inside. I think our plants are wagging their tail, so to speak, in the mornings when we get up, like our pets are, you know. We just don't see them because it's slow motion. But trees are hard to draw. They're as hard as a human body.
Roebuck's new works are in color and incorporate mixed media such as cardboard, drywall plaster, and metal pipe. His latest endeavor are large stick figures, some standing nearly 20 feet tall that he calls tree friends.
At first I built them 20 feet tall and was standing in the side of trees out at my mom's house out in Pongo. And the idea is to have them stand there and hug a tree, be friends with a tree, and you know, my pal, the tree. And hopefully I can get them in settings, you know, maybe stick figures 60 feet tall or somewhere around about there, and permanently installed somewhere, you know, expressways, whatever. But it's light, humorous art. I mean, it's bringing art off its high pedestals, not so serious.
Roebuck's new studio and gallery is an attempt to bring art from its pedestal to the level of the street.
I'm afraid we're all merchants. You know, you either help sell a product or you help build a product, or you provide a service. And no matter what kind of job you do, it fits into one of those categories. And I would like to say, you know, no art, no artist, just everybody making stuff, you know, and look at it from that point of view and present it from that point of view for a change, a fresh change, and see if we can't bridge a gap that's been, it seems to me, like created between the art world and the layman. You know, it's hard to get the layman in a gallery or in a museum nowadays, and that's our fault. You know, I think it's art's fault for not communicating. It's a communicative field. I mean, that's what it's all about. And I hope to be here on street level, doing my thing right here, you know, with the hairdresser, with the hat maker, with everybody else. I enjoy what I do. I'm not, I used to be real ambitious. I'm not that ambitious anymore about, everybody knows artists got egos, you know. But I don't know. I just hope to get better and better at what I do, you know. And black and white holds my interest, and I think I'll be hanging with that.